Welcome to the Creative Nexus. I'm John and today's episode is all about simple daily habits to improve weak English. Before we start, I wanted to ask you a few questions. Do you find it hard to understand English when people speak fast? Do you struggle to write sentences correctly even though you know some words? If you said yes, this episode is just for you. Here. Every day we upload new videos to help you get better at English step by step. Listening to real-life stories and examples can make a big difference for your listening and writing skills. When you listen carefully, you not only understand English better, but also learn how to use words in writing naturally. If you enjoy this episode, please press the like button. It really helps us keep making great content for you. Let me tell you about a simple habit that helped one of our listeners, Ahmed. Ahmed used to listen to English news for just 5 minutes every morning. At first, he didn't understand much, but he kept going. After a few weeks, his listening improved a lot. He started writing short summaries of the news he heard. This practice helped him build both listening and writing skills without feeling overwhelmed. Another story is about Maria. Maria wanted to improve her English but felt too busy for long study sessions. So, she decided to read one short English paragraph every day while having her morning tea. Later, she wrote a few sentences about what she read. This small habit became part of her routine, and after a month her vocabulary and writing confidence grew a lot. Now I want you to try something today. Choose a time, maybe in the morning or before bed, and listen to a short English story or a news clip. Then write 2 or 3 sentences about what you heard. It can be very simple. The important part is to do it daily. Little steps add up to big improvements. Let's talk about John, who found a creative way to practice. He recorded his own voice reading simple English stories. Then he listened to his recordings while walking. Hearing his own voice helped him notice mistakes and improve pronunciation. Plus, writing down what he read helped him remember new words. Here's a quick tip. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to write new words or sentences you hear every day. This habit makes learning active, not passive. You will start seeing your weak points clearly and know what to practice more. Do you have any habits that help you learn English? Share them with us in the comments. Remember, the key is consistency, not time. Just a few minutes every day with simple habits can change your English skills in ways you never thought possible. Let's try another example. Sarah's husband speaks English very well. Sarah started asking him simple questions in English every day, like "How was your day?" or "What did you eat for lunch?" These small conversations helped Sarah improve both speaking and listening naturally. She also tried writing answers later, which strengthened her writing skills. This method is powerful because it connects real conversation with writing practice. When you write about things you hear or say, your brain learns faster. Before we continue, remember to press the like button if you find this helpful. It encourages us to keep sharing useful tips and stories with you. Now think about your daily schedule. What small habit can you add to practice English? Is it listening to a short story, writing a few sentences, or speaking with someone? Pick one and start today. Next, I will share a story about a man named David. David struggled with English for years. One day he decided to watch a short English video every evening, but with subtitles in English, not his native language. This helped him connect spoken and written words. After a few weeks, he turned off subtitles and could understand much more. He also wrote summaries of each video, which improved his writing. You can do the same. Watching videos with English subtitles is a great way to improve both listening and writing skills at once. Let me give you one last habit. When you hear a new English phrase, write it down and try to use it in your own sentences. This habit helped my friend Lisa a lot. She said it made learning fun and practical. Let me share another helpful story. There's a man named Peter. Peter works in a shop and he's always busy, but he wanted to improve his English. So, he made a rule for himself. Every time he had a short break, even just 5 minutes, he opened a small English app on his phone and read a short conversation. After reading, he wrote 1 or 2 sentences about it in a notebook. At first it felt slow, but after 2 weeks he noticed he could understand more words and form better sentences. He said, "I didn't change my whole day. I just used my breaks wisely." That's a great example of turning a busy day into learning time without stress. Now, let's talk about Anna. She is a housewife and wanted to help her children with their English homework. But she felt her English was too weak. So she started a new habit. Every morning she would read a simple English story aloud and then write 3 lines about the story in her own words. She also asked her husband to listen to her reading and correct any small mistakes. After a month, she was surprised at how much more confident she felt. This habit helped her improve both her reading and writing, and it also gave her the courage to speak more English at home. Now I want you to think about your daily life. When do you have 5 or 10 minutes that you could use for English practice? Maybe while waiting for food to cook, or after prayer time, or before going to sleep. That time is perfect for building a small habit like writing one sentence about your day or reading a short English dialogue. Let's take James as an example. James is a delivery driver. He spends a lot of time on the road. So every day before leaving the house, he listens to a short English story and then tries to repeat the story in his own words while driving. When he gets back home, he writes down 3 sentences about what he remembered. His speaking became smoother and his writing clearer. This shows that you don't need a classroom to learn. You just need a small plan and the will to stick with it. Here's another helpful idea. Let's say you want to write better in English. One way is to choose a topic from your day, like what I cooked today or what I saw on my way to get work. Then write 2 to 3 sentences about it in English. Later try to say those sentences out loud. This connects your writing and speaking skills. Sophie, a busy mother of 2, started this method. She chose one small topic each night, wrote about it, and read it aloud. Her children even started joining her. This small practice turned into a daily habit for the whole family, and everyone's English got better together. Another idea comes from Thomas. He writes down every new English word he hears and puts it into a sentence. For example, if he hears the word borrow, he writes, "Can I borrow your book?" Writing like this helps him remember words and use them correctly. If you do the same, you'll notice a big change in your vocabulary and sentence building. So ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do every day to practice English? Is it reading out loud, writing a few sentences, or learning one new word and using it? Start small and be consistent. That's the key. Let's hear about Emily. She used to feel shy about writing in English, but she made a goal to write just one small paragraph every night before bed. She didn't use hard words, just simple ideas like what she did that day, what she cooked, or how she felt. Over time, her writing became more natural. She started noticing grammar mistakes and correcting them by herself. This simple writing habit made her feel more confident and gave her a strong base for speaking as well. Every story I'm sharing today shows one truth. You don't need to do big things. You just need to do small things every day. That's how you grow. Let's continue with a longer and more detailed part of this episode. I want to help you really understand how daily habits, even the very simple ones, can make a big difference in improving weak English. Many people think they need to take a big course or go to school again to become good at English. But that's not true. You can become better by doing small, easy things every day, even at home or at work. Let me tell you the full story of Michael. Michael is a 34-year-old man who works as a cleaner in a large office building. He wanted to improve his English so he could talk more confidently with the people who work in the building. His English was very weak. He could say some words, but when people spoke to him he didn't understand much and he felt nervous. One day he made a plan. It was a small plan, but he promised himself to follow it every single day. His plan was this. First, in the morning before work he would listen to a short English audio. He chose something simple like a story about a man buying vegetables or a woman describing her home. These stories were short, only 5 or 6 minutes. While listening, he tried to repeat what the speaker said sentence by sentence. Then after work, he did one more thing. He took a notebook and wrote 5 sentences in English. Sometimes he wrote about what happened during his day. For example, today I cleaned the meeting room. I found a pen on the floor. I gave it to the manager. Other times he wrote what he heard in the story that morning. He didn't use big words. He didn't worry about being perfect. He just wrote. After 2 weeks, something changed. One of the office workers said, "Your English is better now." That small sentence made Michael feel so happy. It gave him more energy to keep going. After 1 month, he could speak to people more clearly. He still made mistakes, but he was not afraid anymore. That's the power of small habits. He didn't go to a class. He didn't spend money. He just used time that he already had before and after work and made it useful. Now, let's talk about a woman named Rachel. She's a nurse and works in a busy hospital. Her husband speaks English very well, but Rachel used to feel shy to speak English in front of him. She felt like she would make too many mistakes. But she wanted to improve her English so she could understand instructions from doctors better and also help patients who spoke English. So Rachel started doing something very smart. She decided to read one small English article each morning after breakfast. She picked very short and simple texts about health, food or daily activities. After reading, she would write 3 questions about what she read. Then in the evening, she asked her husband the same questions. For example, if the article was about drinking water, she would ask him, how many glasses of water should we drink each day? Or why is water important for the body? By asking these questions and listening to the answers, Rachel improved her listening and also learned how to build better English questions. She also became more confident in her speaking. After a few weeks, she stopped feeling shy. She even started helping other nurses who had weak English. Again, it all started from a small habit. Now, I want you to think about your own life. Maybe you work in a shop, or maybe you are a student, or maybe you stay at home. It doesn't matter. You can still add one small English habit to your day. Let's say every morning before you start your day, you take 5 minutes to write something in English. You can write what you plan to do. For example, today I will clean the kitchen. I will also call my friend. In the evening, I will cook rice and vegetables. Writing like this trains your brain to think in English. Then in the evening, read what you wrote again. Try to speak it out loud. If you do this every day, you will see your writing and speaking become smoother. Let's hear from another person, Daniel. He works in a small grocery store. He meets many customers every day, and some of them speak English. At first, Daniel only said basic things like hello and thank you. But then he decided to practice just one new English sentence every day. He wrote that sentence on a small card and kept it in his pocket. During the day, he looked at the card again and tried to say the sentence in a real situation. One day, his sentence was, "Would you like a bag?" So, he tried using it with customers. At first, he felt nervous, but after a few tries, it became easier. The next day, he used a new sentence. For example, we have fresh apples today. Over time, his English started to grow one sentence at a time. Daniel didn't have a teacher. He didn't have a big plan. He just used small parts of his day to learn something useful and practice it in real life. So now I ask you, what small thing can you do today? Can you write 5 simple sentences in English? Can you read one short story and try to repeat it out loud? Can you learn one useful sentence and try using it with someone? If you do this every day, you will see a big change in 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. You will not feel lost when someone speaks to you. You will not feel nervous when you have to write a message. You will begin to feel strong because your English will be stronger. Let me tell you one more example. Olivia is a young mother who lives in a small town. She takes care of her children and cooks for her family. She always wanted to improve her English so she could help her children with their schoolwork. But she didn't have a lot of time. So she created one very simple habit. While she cooked, she played short English recordings on her phone. The topics were about family life, food, or shopping, things she already understood. She listened every day. And after finishing her cooking, she sat down and wrote 2 things she remembered from the audio. It didn't take much time. Sometimes she only wrote 2 short sentences. But after 2 months, her English listening became much better. Her writing also improved. Most importantly, she said, I feel more confident now. Confidence is very important when learning a language. And confidence comes from doing something again and again. It's not about being perfect. It's about being active and practicing a little every day. So, please ask yourself now, what habit can you begin today? Maybe you can listen to this podcast every morning and write a short note about what you learned. Maybe you can talk to someone at home using 1 or 2 English sentences. Or maybe you can read a short story and write 3 sentences about it in a notebook. Let's continue with more stories, more advice, and more ideas that you can use today to improve your English with very simple habits. This is not just for people who go to English class or take special lessons. This is for everyone. Whether you work in a shop, stay home with children, drive a taxi, or study at school, there is always something small you can do each day to make your English better. You do not need a teacher all the time. You need habits. Good habits, easy habits, habits that you can follow again and again. Let me share the full story of a man named Thomas. Thomas works as a driver for a delivery company. He spends many hours on the road. At first, he thought he could never improve his English because he did not have free time. But one day, he decided to change his daily routine in a small way. Before starting his work every morning, he listened to a short English conversation. It was only 5 or 10 minutes long. Sometimes it was a conversation between two people at a shop. Sometimes it was a man describing his house. Thomas listened while eating breakfast or getting ready for work. He did not try to understand every word. He just tried to understand the main idea. Then while driving during the day, he repeated the sentences he remembered. He said them out loud in the car. He practiced saying them again and again. For example, one day he heard a sentence like, "Can I help you find something?" So, he repeated that sentence during the drive. He said it with a clear voice. After a few days, the sentence felt easy. The next day, he learned a new sentence. Also, every evening when he came home from work, he wrote one short paragraph in English. He used easy words. He wrote about his day. Something like this. Today, I drove to the city. I delivered 10 boxes. The weather was cold. I ate lunch at 2 o'clock. He did this writing every day, even when he was tired. After 1 month, his wife said, "Your English is better now." That made him smile. He didn't spend money. He didn't go to class. He just changed his habits. Let's now talk about Susan. Susan is a woman who works at a bakery. She prepares bread, cakes, and cookies. Her dream was to speak English clearly with the customers. She felt nervous when someone asked her questions in English. One day, her manager said she must speak more English at work. Susan felt afraid. But instead of worrying, she started a new habit. She used her break time to read simple English questions and answers. She wrote these questions on small cards. For example, "How much is this cake?" Or, "Do you have gluten-free bread?" Then she wrote answers like, "It is $5" or "Yes, we have it on the second shelf." Every day she read 5 of these cards. She read them in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. Soon, these sentences became easy for her. After 2 weeks, she used them with real customers. One day, a customer asked, "Is this bread fresh?" Susan smiled and said, "Yes, it was baked this morning." The customer said, "Thank you. Your English is good." Susan felt proud. She now helps her coworkers who want to learn English, too. This change happened because of her small habit. Let's also talk about a young man named David. He works at a car repair shop. His English was not very strong. He knew words like car, tire, and engine, but he could not make full sentences. He started with a very easy habit. Every night before going to sleep, he opened a notebook. He wrote 3 simple sentences, just 3. They were about his day. He used present tense or past tense. Example, "I fixed 2 cars today. One car had a broken mirror. The other car needed new tires." These were not perfect sentences, but they were real. They were from his life. Every Friday, he looked back at his notebook. He read his old sentences. He tried to say them out loud. After 1 month, his English was better. He could now speak in full sentences, not just words. Another thing he did was to listen to easy English while drinking tea in the morning. He found podcasts where people talked slowly and clearly. He listened without stress. He let the words go into his mind. That daily listening helped him understand English more naturally. Let's hear about another person. Her name is Linda. Linda is a mother of 2 children. She stays at home and takes care of the house. She always wanted to help her children with their English homework, but she was not confident. One day, she started a new habit with her children. Every evening, they read one English story together. After reading, Linda asked her children 3 questions about the story. Then the children asked her 3 questions. This habit helped all of them. Linda learned new words. She practiced reading and listening. She also started to write short stories in a notebook. One day she wrote a story about her family. It was simple. She wrote, "I live in a small house. My husband works at a shop. My son likes to draw. My daughter likes to read." These sentences helped her remember vocabulary and sentence structure. She wrote one story every week. Now she teaches her neighbors too. Do the same. Let me now share the routine of Robert. Robert is a 40-year-old man who works as a security guard. He works at night and sleeps during the day. He always felt tired and thought he had no time to study. But he started a very small habit. Every night at work during his short break, he opened an English app on his phone. He read one short conversation. It was something like this. Man, do you need any help? Woman, yes, I'm looking for the restroom. He read that conversation 3 times. Then he closed the app and said the conversation out loud by himself. He practiced the same conversation every day until he remembered it without looking. He didn't learn fast, but he learned deeply. He learned with focus. After some time, he knew many basic conversations. Now he can speak more clearly with visitors at his job. Robert also started to write daily logs in English. A daily log is a small note about what happened. He wrote things like, "The night was quiet. One person came to ask for directions. I helped him." These simple logs helped him think in English. Now when he hears someone speak in English, he understands better. He answers without fear. Let's talk about another simple method used by Emma. Emma is a woman who works as a cleaner in a school. She hears teachers speak English all day, but she didn't understand much at first. So, she decided to listen to easy English stories every morning while walking to work. These stories were about people buying things, cleaning houses, or going to the doctor. She didn't stop the audio when she didn't understand. She just kept listening every day. Then, she created a habit of writing 2 new words from the story each day. She wrote them in her notebook with the meaning in her own language. She also made one example sentence with each word. She read this notebook every evening. After 1 month, she knew over 60 new words. She started using those words in her own sentences. Now she talks with teachers. She asks them small questions like, "Where is the broom?" Or "Do you need help with the chairs?" They smile and talk back. She feels more confident and happy at work. It all started with 10 minutes of listening and 5 minutes of writing each day. So, think about what habit you can start today. Maybe you can write 3 sentences about your day. Maybe you can listen to one story and say 1 sentence out loud. Maybe you can ask a small question in English to someone at home or at work. These are small things, but they grow like. Let's continue. I want to tell you more about how small habits can help you improve weak English. These are not hard ideas. These are not big secrets. These are simple things you can do in your home, at work, or during your free time. These habits will help you build strong English slowly and surely. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to do a little every day. Let me tell you about Peter. Peter works in a small store. He is not young and he did not finish school when he was a child. But Peter always wanted to speak English better so he could help more customers. At first, he did not know what to do. He tried watching some long English lessons but they were too difficult. He gave up many times. Then one day he made a small change. He decided to start reading signs and labels in English. Every day at work he picked one English word from a product. For example, he saw the word shampoo on a bottle. He wrote that word down in his notebook. Next, he looked at the sentence on the bottle. Apply a wet hair. He copied the sentence. Then at lunch break, he looked at the sentence again. He tried to say it slowly. He asked himself, what does it mean? After work, he used his phone to translate it and understand it better. Every day, he did the same thing. He read one word. He copied one sentence. After 1 month, Peter had 20 new sentences in his notebook. He also practiced speaking them at home. He stood in front of the mirror and said the sentence out loud 3 times. He did not worry about being perfect. He only wanted to be better than the day before. Now Peter feels more confident. When a customer asks him a question in English, he smiles and answers politely. Next, I want to tell you about Helen. Helen is a nurse. She works in a busy hospital. She helps many people every day, but English was always difficult for her. She wanted to understand the patients and talk clearly with the doctors. One day she started a very easy habit. Every night before sleeping, she read a short conversation in English. She found these conversations in a small English book. Some of the conversations were about health. Some were about daily life. She did not read fast. She read slowly and carefully. After reading, she closed her eyes and repeated the main sentence. For example, the book said, "Doctor, how do you feel today?" Patient, "I feel tired and dizzy." Helen repeated these sentences again and again. She also started writing one new conversation each week. She used her own words. One day she wrote, "Patient, my head hurts. Nurse, do you want to sit down?" She wrote these lines and read them aloud. At work, she started to use them. A patient said, "I feel sick." Helen replied, "Let me help you." The patient smiled. Now, Helen writes and reads English every day. She made it part of her routine. Let's talk about John. John is a builder. He works with wood, tools, and machines. He is strong and quiet. He did not speak English much. But one day, he got a job where the manager spoke only English. John felt nervous. He didn't understand the instructions, so he started listening to easy English podcasts every morning before work. The episodes were short and clear. Each day, John listened to one new episode. He did not stop to write things down. He just listened. During work, he remembered some words and said them in his mind. If he forgot a word, he listened again the next morning. He also made a voice recording of his own. Every evening, he talked into his phone. He said something simple like, "Today, I built a wooden table. I used a hammer and nails. It looks good." Then he listened to his own voice. At first, he didn't like how he sounded, but he kept doing it. After 1 week, he could speak longer. After 1 month, his sentences became clearer. His wife noticed the change. She said, "Your English is getting better." John felt proud. Now he teaches his younger brother to do the same thing. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is a teacher, but not an English teacher. She teaches small children how to write. She wanted to improve her English so she could speak with other teachers in meetings. She started a simple habit. Every morning she wrote 5 new English words on a piece of paper. She picked easy words from her school books or signs in the hallway. Then she made a sentence with each word. For example, if the word was late, she wrote, "I was late for class today." If the word was happy, she wrote, "My student was happy to learn." After writing the 5 sentences, she read them out loud. She did this every day before school. She also carried the paper in her bag. At lunchtime, she looked at the paper and repeated the words. After 2 weeks, she had 50 new words and 50 new sentences. She started to use them in her real conversations. One day in a meeting, her manager said, "You speak better English now." Sarah smiled and said, "Thank you. I am learning every day." Let's now talk about Michael. Michael is a farmer. He wakes up early and works in the fields. He plants, waters, and harvests crops. His English was very weak. He only knew a few words, but he wanted to learn more so he could speak with visitors and sell his produce to new customers. Michael didn't have a phone with internet, so he used a small English book he bought from the market. Every morning after breakfast, he opened one page. He read one small paragraph. It was something like, "This is a tomato. It grows in warm weather. Tomatoes are red and round." Michael read this out loud. Then he tried to make a sentence with his own crop. He said, "This is a cucumber. It grows fast. Cucumbers are green." He did this every day with a new vegetable or fruit. After some time, he could explain many things in English. One day a visitor came to his farm and asked, "What do you grow here?" Michael said, "I grow tomatoes, onions, and carrots. They are fresh and healthy." The visitor was impressed. Michael was proud. He didn't have a big school or a teacher. He just had a small book and a good habit. Let me tell you about Rachel. Rachel is a shopkeeper. She sells clothes. She works from morning to night. Her shop is in a place where many tourists visit. She wanted to speak English to help more people. She did not have time for a class. So, she started writing questions and answers in a notebook. Every morning, she wrote one question and one answer like this question. "What size do you wear?" Answer, "I wear size medium." Next day, question, "Do you want to try it on?" Answer, "Yes, please." Rachel practiced these lines in front of a mirror. She said them again and again. At first, she was slow, then she became faster. After 2 weeks, she used these questions with real people. One day a man came to buy a shirt. Rachel asked, "What size do you wear?" The man said, "Large." Rachel smiled and helped him. The man said, "You speak English well." Rachel said, "Thank you. I am learning every day." Now, Rachel writes and speaks English every day. It has become part of her life. Let's go on and talk about Daniel. Daniel is a man who drives a small bus. He picks up people and takes them to the city. His English was not strong, but he wanted to be polite to visitors. He started a habit of learning one sentence each day. He wrote the sentence on a piece of paper and stuck it near the steering wheel. For example, one day the sentence was, "Please take your seat." Another day it was, "Do you need change?" Each day he read the sentence before work and practiced it 10 times. Then he used it with passengers. After a month, he had learned 30 new sentences. He started to feel more confident when people asked him questions in English. Now Daniel says simple things like "Good morning," "Where do you want to go?" and "Have a nice day." He feels good because he made a small change in his day. And thank you for listening. Now I want to share even more stories and ideas about simple daily habits that can help you improve weak English. These habits do not need special places or teachers. You can do them anywhere, anytime. The important thing is to make them part of your daily routine. Little steps every day lead to big progress over time. Let me tell you about Emma. Emma works in a bakery. She bakes bread and cakes. Her English was not very good. She wanted to talk to customers more easily. Emma decided to start a habit of labeling things in her shop. She wrote simple English words on small pieces of paper and stuck them on the shelves. For example, she put the word bread on the bread shelf and cake on the cake shelf. When customers asked questions, Emma looked at the labels to remember the words. At home, she practiced saying these words in simple sentences like, "Fresh bread is here." She also practiced writing down new words every evening. After a few weeks, she knew many new words. Her confidence grew. Now she helps customers in English without feeling nervous. Now let's talk about David. David is a security guard. He works at a shopping center. He wanted to improve his English to talk better with visitors. David started to listen to the radio every day. The radio station played news and weather reports. At first, he did not understand much, but he listened every morning while eating breakfast. After a few weeks, he started to recognize some words like rain, sunny, and cold. He wrote these words in a notebook. David also tried to say the weather report out loud. He practiced it many times. After 2 months, David could tell people the weather in simple English. This made him happy and more comfortable at work. I want to share a story about Lisa. Lisa is a cleaning worker in a hotel. She wanted to speak English well so she could talk to guests. Lisa started to use her phone to record her voice. Every night she spoke about her day in simple English. She said things like, "I cleaned the rooms today. The rooms are clean now. I am tired but happy." Then she listened to the recording. Sometimes she made mistakes but she did not stop. She did this every night. After some weeks, Lisa noticed she spoke more clearly. She also started to learn new words from the recordings. Now she speaks English better and enjoys her job more. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark is a driver. He drives trucks to deliver goods. His English was weak. He wanted to improve. Mark started a small habit of reading road signs in English every day. When he drove, he paid attention to signs like stop, slow, and no entry. He also read street names and directions. At home, he copied the signs into a notebook. Mark practiced saying these words with his wife. She helped him by asking questions like, "What does this sign mean?" Mark explained in English. This practice helped him learn new words and phrases. After a month, Mark felt more confident driving and talking in English. Now, I want to share about Anna. Anna is a nurse assistant. She works in a clinic. Anna wanted to speak English to help patients better. She made a habit of watching short English videos on her phone. The videos were about health and daily life. Anna watched one video each day. After watching, she wrote down 5 new words or sentences. She practiced saying them out loud. Anna also asked her husband to help her practice. They talked about the video as in English. Anna's speaking and listening improved. She felt happier at work because she could understand patients better. Let me tell you about James. James works in a restaurant as a waiter. He wanted to improve his English to serve customers better. James started by learning one new English phrase every day. For example, "Can I take your order?" Or "Would you like some water?" He wrote the phrases on small cards. He carried the cards in his pocket. When he worked, he tried to use these phrases with customers. James also practiced the phrases at home. His wife helped by pretending to be a customer. James' English became stronger. Customers liked his polite and clear English. Now I want to tell you about Claire. Claire works in a small shop. She wanted to speak better English. Claire started a habit of writing a diary in English. Every night she wrote a few sentences about her day. For example, today I sold a red dress. The customer was happy. She did not worry about mistakes. She wrote slowly and used a dictionary if she needed. After a few weeks, Claire saw that her writing and vocabulary improved. She also practiced reading her diary out loud. This helped her speaking skills. Writing every day became a good habit for Claire. Let me tell you about Tom. Tom is a gardener. He works outside planting flowers and trees. Tom wanted to learn English to talk to visitors in the park. He started to read short English books about plants. Each day he read one page. He wrote down new words like flower, tree, and leaf. Tom practiced saying the words in sentences. He also made a small list of questions and answers. For example, what is this flower? And this is a rose. Tom used these sentences with visitors. His English improved slowly but surely. He was proud of his progress. Let's talk about Susan. Susan works in a factory. She wanted to improve her English. Susan started a habit of repeating simple English phrases during her break time. She made a list of common phrases like good morning, thank you, and see you tomorrow. Susan said these phrases many times every day. She also tried to use them when talking with her coworkers. Susan felt more confident speaking English at work. This simple habit helped her a lot. Now, I want to share about Kevin. Kevin is a postman. He delivers letters and packages. Kevin wanted to speak English better. He started to listen to short My English stories every day on his phone. The stories were simple and easy to understand. After listening, Kevin repeated the story in his mind. He also tried to say some sentences out loud. Kevin liked these stories because they were about daily life. This habit helped Kevin learn new words and practice speaking. Let me tell you about Olivia. Olivia works as a cashier. She wanted to improve her English so she could help customers more easily. Olivia started a habit of learning one new English word every day. She picked the word from the product she sold. She wrote the word and its meaning in a small notebook. Olivia also made a sentence with the word. She practiced saying the sentence many times. After some weeks, Olivia knew many new words. She felt more comfortable talking in English at work. Let me share about George. George is a taxi driver. He wanted to speak better English for his passengers. George started by learning common English questions. He wrote questions like, where do you want to go? And how much is the fare? George practiced these questions every day. He said them aloud in his car. He also learned answers like, turn. Now, I want to share more real stories and helpful tips that can guide you step by step. These are easy daily habits that can help you become stronger in English. You do not need to go to a big school. You do not need expensive classes. These are small things that you can do every day in your home, at work, or even while walking. These simple habits, if you keep doing them every day, will help you improve both your speaking and writing in English. Let's start with the story of Sarah. Sarah works as a receptionist in a small office. Her job is to answer phone calls, greet visitors, and help with schedules. When she started this job, her English was weak. She often got nervous when someone spoke to her in English. One day, her manager gave her a daily task to check emails. She did not understand many words in the messages. So Sarah made a new habit. Every time she read an email and saw a word she did not know, she wrote it in a notebook. She looked up the meaning using a simple English dictionary. Then she wrote a sentence using that word. For example, she saw the word appointment. She learned what it means and wrote, the visitor has an appointment at 3 o'clock. Every day she did this with 2 or 3 words. After 1 month, she had more than 50 new words. She used these words when she talked to people. Her manager noticed her improvement. Now she reads emails faster and speaks with more confidence. Now, let's talk about Henry. Henry is a father of 2 children. He works at a grocery store. Henry wanted to improve his English so he could help his children with their school homework. But he did not have much free time. So he made a small habit during his walking time. Every day when he walked to work or walked home, he repeated simple English sentences in his mind. For example, today is a good day. Or I will go to work now. Then he made those sentences longer. Today is a good day because the weather is nice. This made his thinking stronger in English. Later, he started to describe things he saw on the street. The man is wearing a blue shirt. That car is very big. There is a dog in the garden. This habit helped him speak better. At home, he tried the same sentences with his children. They helped him correct mistakes. After a few weeks, Henry felt proud. He could help his children with reading and writing in English. Let me tell you about Rachel. Rachel works in a clothing shop. She was shy and did not like to speak English in front of people. One day, she decided to change this. She started to keep a speaking journal. Every morning she went to a quiet place like her kitchen. She took out her phone and opened the voice recorder. She talked for 1 minute in English about her plans for the day. Today I will go to work. I will clean the shop. I will talk to customers. I will sell clothes. The next day she talked for 2 minutes. Then 3, she did not worry about grammar. She just talked. Later in the evening, she listened to her own voice. Sometimes she made mistakes, but that was okay. She made notes and tried to do better the next day. This became her morning routine. Now she can speak for 10 minutes without stopping. She is still learning, but she is not afraid to speak anymore. Let's look at Michael. Michael is a plumber. He fixes water pipes and taps. He often works in homes and small buildings. Michael did not go to English school. He wanted to improve by himself. He created a simple system. He made small flashcards from paper. On one side, he wrote an English word. On the other side, he wrote its meaning in simple words in a sentence. For example, leak and there is a leak in the pipe. He kept the cards in his pocket and looked at them when he was waiting for a customer or eating lunch. He also made cards for common questions and answers. Where is the problem? Can I see the kitchen? Do you have hot water? He practiced them aloud every day. When he visited homes, he used those sentences. Customers were happy that he tried to speak English. Michael now understands more words and his speaking is more clear. Now, let's hear about Linda. Linda is a mother. She stays at home and takes care of her family. Her English was weak and she wanted to improve to help her children in school and to go shopping more easily. She started a very simple habit. Every night she read 5 English sentences from a children's storybook. She read the sentences slowly and clearly. Then she wrote them in a notebook. She copied them 2 times. Then she closed the book and tried to write the sentences from memory. The next morning, she read the same sentences again. After 1 week, she remembered many new words. She started to use these words while cooking or cleaning. She said them aloud, such as, I am washing the dishes or I am cutting vegetables. Her children saw her effort and helped her with pronunciation. Now she can read better and she is learning new words every day. Now let's hear about Daniel. Daniel works as a delivery driver. He drives his van every day to bring packages to different houses. He used to listen to silence while driving. Now he uses that time to practice English. He plays English listening practice on his phone. These are short and simple lessons. As he drives, he listens to the same audio again and again. Then he pauses and repeats the sentences aloud. Sometimes he records his voice and listens back to check if he said the words clearly. He also stops and writes 0:56 and 3 seconds down 2 new words when he takes a break. He says the words aloud 5 times. This helps him remember them. After 1 month, Daniel feels more comfortable listening to people speak English. He also finds it easier to speak to customers at the door. Now, I want to share a story about Helen. Helen is a cleaner in an office building. She works at night and the office is quiet. She wanted to improve her English, but was always tired after work. So, she made a habit of learning just 1 new sentence every night. She took a small notebook with her. She wrote a sentence before she started her work like, I clean the office every night. She looked at the sentence during her work and said it aloud many times. The next day, she changed the sentence like, I clean the windows with a cloth. Every week, she had 7 new sentences. She wrote them again on Sunday and read them aloud. After 3 months, Helen had over 90 sentences. She used them to make short stories about her work. This helped her remember vocabulary and use Grammar better. Let's also talk about Peter. Peter is a carpenter. He builds furniture. He did not go to school for English. He started learning English with signs and instructions. Every day he looked at the tools he used and wrote their names in a notebook. Hammer, nail, wood, saw. Then he wrote simple instructions with these words. I cut the wood with a saw. I use the hammer for the nails. This table is made of wood. He made a new sentence every day. Peter also asked his wife to test him every evening. She read the word and he had to say the sentence. This daily habit helped him remember words clearly. Now Peter can explain his work to others in English without fear. Let me tell you about Lucy. Lucy works in a cafe. She started a new habit during her break time. She writes a text message to herself in English. Just a short message like today is busy or I made 5 coffees. Later she reads it again and adds more words. Today is very busy because many people came. I made 5 cups of coffee and served 2 sandwiches. This practice helps her learn how to grow a sentence and write better. She does this every day. Her writing is improving and she feels proud when she reads old messages. Now, I will share even more stories and practical advice to help you build better English with simple actions you can take every day. You do not need to live in a big city or speak perfect English. You just need to be willing to try small things again and again. These daily habits can make your English stronger step by step. You can listen, repeat, write, read, or think in English for just a few minutes every day. Over time, you will see big results. Let me tell you the story of Thomas. Thomas is a security guard. He works in a parking lot near a hospital. His job is to check cars, help drivers park, and walk around the area to make sure everything is safe. Thomas wanted to learn English so he could talk to visitors, help people who were lost, and maybe one day get a better job. He did not have time to go to classes, so he made a small habit during work. When the area was quiet, he looked at signs around the hospital. There were signs like emergency, entrance, exit, visitors only. He wrote the words down in a notebook. Then he wrote simple sentences using each word. For example, this is the emergency room. You can exit this way. Only visitors can park here. He repeated these sentences many times while walking. He spoke slowly and clearly. After a few weeks, he felt more confident speaking to drivers. One day, a woman asked him for help in English. He was nervous, but he remembered his practice. He said, "You can go to the main entrance. Walk straight and turn left." The woman smiled and thanked him. Thomas felt proud. He continued, learning one sign and sentence each day. This helped him grow his vocabulary and learn to speak in a calm and clear way. Now, let's talk about Emily. Emily is a teacher's assistant at a small primary school. Her English was not very strong, and she felt shy to speak in front of others. But she had a dream. She wanted to become a full-time teacher. One day, she decided to begin a simple new habit. Every evening before bed, she wrote one short paragraph in a notebook. She wrote about her day in easy English. For example, today I helped the teacher. We taught the children how to count. The children were happy. I gave them pencils and paper. She wrote every day. She did not try to make it perfect. She just wrote simple sentences. After writing, she read the paragraph aloud 2 or 3 times. Then she tried to say the same paragraph without reading. In the beginning it was hard. She made mistakes. But after 2 weeks she could remember many parts. After 1 month she noticed that her speaking became more smooth. She started using these sentences when talking to parents and teachers. Her boss noticed her confidence. After 3 months, she was asked to lead a small reading group. Emily was very happy. She said this small habit helped her grow. Now, let's hear about George. George works as a gardener. He takes care of plants and flowers in a large park. He loves his job, but he also wants to speak better English so he can explain his work to visitors. George started to talk to himself during work. When he watered the plants, he said, "I am watering the flowers." When he picked up leaves, he said, "I am cleaning the ground." When he planted a new tree, he said, "I am planting a tree." At first, he felt silly, but he continued every day. He also took photos of his work and wrote short captions. This is a red rose. I trimmed the bushes today. The grass is very green after the rain. He sent these pictures and sentences to his cousin, who is also learning English. They talked once a week by phone and asked each other questions about their pictures. George's vocabulary grew. He now speaks with more confidence when visitors ask him questions. One visitor even asked him to help with a private garden project. George felt proud and motivated to learn more. Now, let's meet Susan. Susan is a nurse in a small clinic. She speaks some English, but her writing is not strong. She wanted to write better reports and messages to doctors and patients. She started a habit called one question, one answer. Every day, she picked one simple question in English and wrote her answer. For example, what did you do today? She wrote, I helped 2 patients. I gave medicine. I checked blood pressure. The next day, she asked herself, what do you like about your job? She wrote, I like to help people. I feel happy when patients smile. She kept all the questions and answers in one notebook. On weekends, she read them again and tried to add more detail. Over time, her answers became longer and clearer. She showed the notebook to her friend, who corrected a few small grammar points. Now, Susan writes better notes and even writes simple messages in English to patients. She feels more confident and happy with her progress. Let's now talk about David. David is a shop owner. He sells tools and hardware. Most of his customers speak English. He always felt nervous when speaking to them, so he started a simple practice. Every morning before opening the shop, he stood in front of a mirror and spoke for 5 minutes. He said things like, good morning. How can I help you? Or this hammer is $5. He also practiced answering questions. Do you have nails? Yes, I have small and large nails. Can I pay with a card? Yes, we accept cards. Every day, he added one new sentence to his practice. He spoke slowly and looked at his own mouth in the mirror. This helped him pronounce words more clearly. After 2 weeks, he noticed that he was less afraid to talk to customers. After 1 month, he spoke faster and made fewer mistakes. He now greets every customer in English with confidence. Let's hear the story of Grace. Grace is a housewife. She spends most of her day cooking, cleaning, and helping her children with school. She wanted to improve her English so she could talk to teachers and help with homework. She started a new habit while cooking. She began to speak in English while doing her tasks. I am washing the rice. Now I am cutting the vegetables. I will boil water. She repeated each sentence a few times. Then she made longer sentences. I am cutting the vegetables to make soup for lunch. She also made her children join her. They played a game. One person would say a sentence in English about what they were doing. The others had to repeat or make a new sentence. This small game helped everyone improve. Grace felt more happy and confident when going to school meetings. She even started helping other mothers learn English with her simple method. Let's talk about Paul. Paul is a cleaner in a school. He works early in the morning. Paul wanted to improve his English so he could get a better job. He did not know where to start. Then he heard about writing daily goals. Every morning before work, he wrote one small goal in English. Today I will speak 2 sentences in English, or today I will learn one new word. At the end of the day he wrote if he finished the goal or not. After a week he felt good. He saw that he could reach these small goals. One day his goal was ask one teacher a question in English. He asked, how are you today? The teacher smiled and said, I am fine, thank you. Paul was happy. He made new friends and felt brave. Every day he wrote a new small goal and tried to complete it. This helped him learn with clear steps. Let me also tell you about Anna. Anna is a delivery worker. She rides her bicycle to deliver packages. She wanted to improve her speaking and listening. So, she began talking to herself while riding. She described what she saw. I see a red house. There is a tree on the left. The road is long. She also made short stories about the houses she passed. In this house, a family lives. The mother is cooking. The children are playing. This practice made her thinking faster in English. She also repeated sentences she heard from customers. Please leave it at the door. Thank you very much. She wrote these down after work and practiced them. Now she can. Thank you for continuing with me. I will share many more ideas and examples that anyone can use every day to improve English. Step by step. These ideas do not need special places or tools. They only need simple daily habits and small efforts. You can do them at home, at work, or even when you walk outside. The important thing is to do a little every day and keep going. Let me tell you more stories and advice to help you with your English listening and writing skills. First, I want to talk about Mark. Mark works in a warehouse. His English was not strong when he started his job. He found it hard to understand instructions from his manager. He decided to write down simple words and phrases that his manager used often. For example, put the box here. Check the list. Move the pallet. Every day, Mark wrote these sentences in his notebook and read them aloud. Then he listened carefully during work and tried to recognize these words. When he heard a sentence, he tried to repeat it quietly to himself. He also asked his manager to say important instructions slowly. After a few weeks, Mark could understand more. He felt less worried about mistakes. He also started writing short notes about his work. For example, today I moved 10 boxes. I helped my team. I cleaned the area. Writing helped Mark remember new words. Mark's simple daily habit helped him do his job better and made him feel more confident speaking English at work. Now, let me tell you about Linda. Linda is a mother and she helps take care of her children in-house. She wanted to improve her English because she wanted to talk with teachers and other parents. Linda started a new habit. Every day she listened to a short English audio or story while she was cooking or cleaning. She used her phone or computer to find easy stories or short talks. When she heard new words, she stopped and wrote them down in a notebook. After that, she tried to use these words in simple sentences. For example, if she heard the word kitchen, she wrote, I cleaned the kitchen. The kitchen is big. She repeated these sentences many times. Linda also read the sentences aloud. She did this every day for 10 minutes. After 1 month, she noticed that she understood more English when listening. She could also say simple sentences better. Linda's daily habit of listening and writing helped her improve slowly but surely. Now I want to share the story of John. John works in a small shop. He wanted to improve his English because many customers spoke English. He started a habit to help his speaking. Every evening, John looked at a mirror and spoke for 5 minutes. He practiced greetings like, hello, how are you? Can I help you? He also practiced answers like, yes, we have it. No, sorry, it is finished. John also made small flashcards with words and sentences. He kept them in his pocket and looked at them when he had time. Sometimes he said the words quietly while walking. John also recorded his voice on his phone. He listened to himself and tried to improve his pronunciation. After several weeks, John felt more confident speaking English. Customers understood him better. His small daily habit of speaking and listening to himself helped John a lot. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is a nurse. She needed to write simple reports for doctors. Sarah started to write one sentence every day in English. For example, the patient is feeling better. The medicine was given. The blood pressure is normal. She wrote these sentences in a notebook and read them every night. Sarah also asked her husband to help. He corrected her writing gently and explained small mistakes. Sarah felt happy when she wrote her sentences correctly. Writing helped Sarah think in English and remember important words for her work. Sarah's daily habit of writing one sentence every day made her English stronger over time. Now I want to tell you about Michael. Michael is a gardener. He loves his job but wants to explain his work to visitors in English. Michael made a daily habit of describing his work out loud. He said, I am planting flowers. I am watering the plants. The garden looks clean today. He also took photos and wrote short sentences about them. Michael shared these sentences with his wife. They practiced together. Michael's simple habit helped him remember words and feel more confident talking to people. Next is Emma. Emma is a teacher's assistant. She was shy about speaking English in front of others. Emma started to write short paragraphs about her day in simple English. For example, today I helped the teacher. The children learned to count. She read her paragraphs aloud. Emma tried to speak these sentences without reading. After practice, she felt more confident. Emma's small habit of writing and speaking helped her speak better. Now, I want to talk about Paul. Paul works as a cleaner in a school. He wanted to improve his English step by step. Paul wrote one small goal in English every morning. For example, today I will say 2 sentences in English. I will learn one new word. He wrote if he finished his goal at the end of the day. This helped Paul see his progress. One day his goal was to ask a teacher a question in English. Paul said, "How are you today?" The teacher smiled and answered. Paul felt proud. Setting small goals every day helped Paul improve his English slowly. Let me share the story of Anna. Anna is a delivery worker. She talks to herself in English while riding her bicycle. She describes what she sees like there is a red house. The road is long. Anna also makes short stories about the places she passes. She repeats sentences. She hears from customers and writes them later. This habit helped Anna think faster in English and speak more fluently. Now I want to tell you about James. James works in a hotel. He wanted to speak better English with guests. James started reading signs and menus every day. He wrote down words and sentences from the signs. Then he practiced reading them aloud. James also listened carefully to guest questions and repeated the answers quietly. After practicing daily, James could speak more clearly and understand guests better. Thank you for staying with me. I will now continue to share more useful stories and daily habits that can help you improve your English in a slow and steady way. These habits do not require a lot of money or a classroom. You can do them from home, at work, or while doing your normal tasks during the day. If you practice these small habits every day, your English will get better and better with time. Let me now tell you about William. William works at a car repair shop. He does not have much time during the day, but he wanted to improve his English because he meets many people who speak English. William started a habit of speaking out loud to himself every morning. Before going to work, he stood in front of the mirror and said some simple English sentences. He would say things like, "I will fix the car today. I need a tool. The engine is not working." These were short, clear sentences that he used often at work. He also kept a small notebook in his pocket during work. When he heard a new English word from a customer or a co-worker, he wrote it down. Later, he searched the word's meaning and wrote a new sentence using that word. For example, he heard the word appointment from a customer and he wrote, "The customer made an appointment for tomorrow." Doing this every day helped him understand more and speak with more confidence. Now, let us talk about Grace. Grace is a housewife. She takes care of her family and does many tasks every day at home. She wanted to improve her English because she wanted to talk to the doctor, visit the shop, and understand what people say at the school when she visits with her children. Grace began a habit of listening to short English stories while she was cooking or folding clothes. She found simple stories for English learners that use slow and clear speech. She listened carefully and tried to repeat what the speaker said. She pressed pause and repeated each sentence after listening. For example, if the story said, "Today is a sunny day," Grace would say the same sentence. If she did not know a word, she wrote it down in her notebook and looked it up later. At night, she practiced using the new words in her own sentences. For example, she heard the word sunny and she wrote, "It is sunny outside today." She read this sentence aloud. After some weeks, she could understand more when listening and she could say many new sentences. Let me now tell you about David. David is a bus driver. He drives the bus every day in the morning and in the evening. He meets many people and he wanted to improve his English to help the passengers better. David made a habit of learning 2 new English words every day. He picked the words from signs, tickets, or things people said. For example, one day he learned the word schedule. He then used this word in a sentence like "The bus schedule is on the wall." Another day he learned the word late. He said "The bus is late today." He repeated each word many times and used them during his work. He also wrote a short paragraph every night using the 2 words he learned. The paragraph was simple like "Today the bus was full. I followed the schedule. One man was late and I waited for him." These habits helped him speak better and understand passengers. Now I will tell you about Elizabeth. Elizabeth works in a bakery. She wanted to improve her English because many customers asked questions in English. Elizabeth started a simple habit of writing 10 sentences every day. She wrote about her day, her job, or what she saw. Her sentences were easy like, "I baked bread today. A customer asked for a cake. The weather is hot." After writing, she read her sentences out loud. She also recorded her voice on her phone and listened to it. This helped her hear her own pronunciation and correct herself. She practiced every day, even for 10 minutes. After 1 month, she could speak more smoothly. Her writing also became stronger. She used the same sentences when speaking to customers. Elizabeth's small daily habit gave her more power to speak and write clearly. Next, I want to share the story of Thomas. Thomas works in a farm. He wanted to speak better English because sometimes the farm owner gave instructions in English. Thomas started talking to himself while doing his farm work. He said, "I am feeding the chickens. The cow needs water. I will clean the barn." He also took a picture of his work and wrote one sentence for each picture. Then at night, he looked at the pictures and tried to speak the sentences again without looking. This helped him remember the words. When he met someone who spoke English, he tried to use one or two new sentences he had learned. He made mistakes, but he did not stop. Over time, his speaking became clearer. Thomas did not go to any class. He just used the words from his daily life and repeated them every day. Now, let me tell you about Rebecca. Rebecca works at a clothing shop. She wanted to talk to customers and coworkers in English. Rebecca started a habit of learning common phrases used in shops. She wrote them on paper and read them while traveling to work. She practiced saying sentences like, "How can I help you? This shirt is on sale. We have this in another size." At work, she tried to use these phrases with real customers. If someone asked a question she did not understand, she smiled and said, "Can you say it again slowly, please?" She wrote down the question later and learned how to answer it. After 1 month, she was using more English at work without fear. Now, I want to tell you about George. George is a retired man. He has more time during the day and wanted to improve his English to speak to neighbors and understand the news. George started reading short news articles written in simple English. After reading, he wrote a short summary in his notebook. For example, if the news said, "Today there was rain in London," George would write, "It rained in London today." Then he tried to say this out loud. He also shared his summary with his wife and explained it in English. This helped George use new words and build confidence in speaking. He also wrote new words on flashcards and reviewed them every day. He kept this habit every morning before breakfast. Slowly, he became more comfortable with reading, writing, and speaking in English. Let me now tell you about Helen. Helen works as a cook in a school kitchen. She hears many words from teachers and children. Helen made a simple habit. Every evening, she wrote down 5 new words she heard that day. She wrote the meaning in one sentence for each word. Then she practiced saying the sentences out loud. For example, she heard the word lunchbox. She wrote, "The boy forgot his lunchbox," and said it 5 times. This habit helped her understand the children better and made her feel proud. There are still more. Thank you for listening carefully. Now I will share many more simple daily habits that can help you improve your English. These habits are easy to do and do not take much time. You do not need to go to a school or buy expensive books. You can practice them every day at home or at work. If you do a little bit every day, you will see improvement in your listening, speaking, and writing skills. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark is an office worker. He wanted to improve his English because he talks with many colleagues and clients. Mark started a habit of reading one short English article every morning. The article could be about health, food, or daily news. He read slowly and carefully. After reading, he wrote 5 sentences about the article in his notebook. For example, if the article was about healthy food, he wrote, "Eating vegetables is good for health. Drinking water helps the body. Walking every day keeps you fit." Then he read his sentences aloud. This helped him learn new words and practice pronunciation. Mark also tried to listen to the article if there was an audio version. This way he could connect reading with listening. Now I will tell you about Anna. Anna works in a supermarket. She wanted to understand customers better and talk to them in English. Anna made a habit of listening to English radio or podcasts for 10 minutes every day while getting ready in the morning. She chose podcasts that speak slowly and clearly. Anna listened carefully and tried to understand the main ideas. She did not worry if she did not understand every word. After listening, she wrote a few words or sentences about the topic. For example, if the podcast was about a healthy lifestyle, she wrote, "Exercise is important. Eat fruits and vegetables." Anna also repeated some sentences from the podcast to practice speaking. This helped her improve both listening and speaking skills. Let me tell you about James. James is a taxi driver. He wanted to speak English better to talk with tourists. James started a habit of asking simple questions in English to passengers. He said, "Where are you from? How is your day? Do you like this city?" He did not worry about making mistakes. When he did not know how to say something, he wrote it down and learned the words later. James also kept a small notebook to write new words he heard during the day. Every night, he read the new words and tried to use them in sentences. This daily habit helped James improve his vocabulary and speaking confidence. Now I will tell you about Emma. Emma is a teacher. She wanted to improve her English to help her students better. Emma made a habit of writing a diary in English every day. She wrote about her day, what she did and how she felt. Her sentences were simple. For example, today I taught math. The students were happy. I cooked dinner. Emma also read her diary aloud after writing. She listened to her voice and tried to speak clearly. This helped Emma improve her writing and speaking at the same time. She did this habit every evening before going to bed. Let me share the story of Robert. Robert works in a library. He wanted to improve his English so he could talk to visitors and answer their questions. Robert made a habit of learning one new English word every day. He used a dictionary to find the meaning and wrote a sentence using the word. For example, the word borrow means to take something for a short time. Robert wrote, I borrow books from the library. He read the sentence aloud many times. Robert also tried to use the new word when talking with visitors. This helped him learn new vocabulary and practice speaking. Now I will tell you about Lisa. Lisa works at a bakery. She wanted to improve her English to talk to customers and coworkers. Lisa started a habit of watching short English videos on her phone during breaks. She chose videos that teach simple phrases for shops and greetings. Lisa listened carefully and repeated the phrases many times. She also wrote down new words and phrases in a small notebook. After watching the videos, she practiced saying the phrases to herself. This habit helped Lisa learn useful English for her job and speak more confidently. Let me tell you about Henry. Henry works in a restaurant. He wanted to improve his English to take orders from customers. Henry made a habit of practicing common English phrases every day. He practiced saying, "Can I help you? What would you like to eat? Do you want a drink?" Henry also asked his wife to help him practice. They played a game where she pretended to be a customer and Henry took the order in English. This made learning fun for Henry. He practiced every day for a few minutes. After some weeks, he could speak more clearly with customers. Now, I want to share the story of Sarah. Sarah works in a cleaning service. She wanted to improve her English to understand instructions better. Sarah started a habit of reading simple English instructions every day. She read labels, signs, and simple manuals. She wrote down new words and their meanings. Then she practiced reading the instructions aloud. Sarah also asked her husband to help her practice. He gave her simple instructions in English and Sarah followed them. This helped Sarah understand and speak English better. Now I will tell you about Michael. Michael is a driver. He wanted to improve his English to talk to people at the gas station and shops. Michael started a habit of listening to English news every day. He listened to short and simple news stories. After listening, he wrote down the main points in his notebook. Michael also tried to say the news story in his own words. This practice helped him improve his listening and speaking skills. Let me share the story of Laura. Laura works at a flower shop. She wanted to speak English to customers. Laura started a habit of learning 5 new words every day. She wrote the words and their meanings. She also made sentences for each word. Laura practiced reading the sentences aloud many times. She also used the words with customers. This helped Laura remember new words and speak more clearly. Now I want to tell you about Daniel. Daniel works in a factory. He wanted to improve his English to talk to coworkers. Daniel started a habit of talking in English with his friend at work. They talked about simple things like weather, food, and work. Daniel also kept a notebook of new words and phrases. He practiced the words every day. This daily habit helped Daniel speak better English and understand more. Let me tell you about Karen. Karen is a nurse. She wanted to improve her English to talk to patients. Karen started a habit of reading simple English medical stories every day. She wrote down new words and sentences. Karen practiced reading the sentences aloud. She also used the new words when talking with patients. This helped Karen improve her speaking and listening. Now I want to share the story of Paul. Paul is a gardener. He wanted to speak English to customers. Paul started a habit of listening to English radio every day while working. He listened to simple and clear speech. After listening, he repeated some sentences. Paul also wrote new words and practiced them.